place looks really nice. I wonder if all my games are here. Oh sweet, they are! Ooh, and what's this? Oh thanks, Tycho Geezer. Well, there's so many games in here. Hold on. Is there a catch? Well then, we should get started. I sure hope nothing bad's going to happen. For a bit of background, Namco was founded back in 1955 as Nakamura Manufacturing, but video games as we know them today didn't exist, so they specialised in making mechanical entertainment such as amusement park rides and small attractions. They kept to that for 18 years until they saw the potential of electronic arcades. They really hit their stride here, creating hit after hit, and eventually they created a series of amazing arcade titles. They got very popular and eventually released a little game you may have heard of called Pac-Man. What? You've never heard of Pac-Man? Did you think I meant Pac-Man? Well, in Japan he was called Pac-Man, but when it was time to bring it to the West, they changed the name for obvious and blatant reasons. However, in this video, I want to focus on retro Namco stuff, so I have a big selection of Namco games chilling down here, from shooting games to arcade games to fighting games. So why don't we start from their arcade days, before all the Tekkens and Ridge Racers, with the 50th anniversary collection on the PS2, a compilation of their classic arcade titles stored on a shiny disc rather than massive cabinets that are taller than me. The first game on the list is everyone's favourite, Pac-Man. I'm sure you need no introduction to this one, even Google wanted a piece of the action back in 2010. So you just need to collect all the pellets without touching the ghosts. It doesn't seem that I'll get very far with that red ghost here, and
Oh no!
Pole Position is up next, and it's a simple racing game, but the sound effects are quite grating.
Prepare to qualify.
You can drift along turns, switch gears and avoid obstacles. It's a shame that I'm not very good at the latter. Well, I guess 144th isn't all that bad, but do you know a great way to follow up Pole Position? Or how about Pole Position 2? Very similar to its predecessor, but with upgraded graphics and that...
Prepare to qualify.
Don't worry, that egregious lawnmower is still around. But hey, check it out. I reached a much more respectable 81st ranking this time. Watch out Formula 1, there's going to be a new champion on your circuits. But don't worry, it isn't going to be me. If you can't get enough of driving games, may I suggest Rally X. Instead of racing for the highest rank, you go around the track, collecting 10 flags and dodging obstacles and other cars. Although the premise is simple, the controls seem a bit delayed, so you may find yourself missing turns and... yeah. Let me tell you that these are the absolute worst. It feels like they gang up on you, and as soon as you turn a corner to grab a flag, they come at you from both sides and all your chances are sent to Brad's pit. Rolling Thunder is up next, and we have some massive character sprites on full view, and our character finds himself shooting at enemies that indefinitely cram themselves behind doors, solely to ruin your day. They must be wearing corrosive armour or clothes, because as soon as they touch you, your life drains very quickly, and you will only be one rusty cufflink away from your demise. The voice samples that play when you gun down an enemy are quite amusing. Certain rooms contain more ammunition for your gun, which is helpful since you only start out at 50 bullets, and these boosts can take you up to 91. This game is quite fun, but make sure you keep your distance from everyone. At least I got on the podium this time. Don't you mock me, you disgusting green oven mitt. Sky Kid is up now. I must say the game music here is quite catchy. The perfect soundtrack to shoot at enemy planes and drop bombs that look like those little soy sauce bottles you get in Meal Deal Sushi onto their headquarters. This is a good little game, so I'm just going to land this experience right on my hopes and dreams. Xevious is up next, and it's a classic vertical shooter. You aim at little spinning plates, but I didn't say anything about shooting them. There are also turrets and buildings on the ground that you drop bombs on, but trying to line up the trajectory and the distance to ensure that your bomb drops on the target without getting blown up yourself is a real pain. There's probably a trick I'm missing, but I haven't got time to find out because Bosconian is up next. No, not Bosnian, Bosconian. This is the first of several space shooters that Namco have so graciously put onto this compilation. It seems you're on an infinite plane shooting at whatever comes at us at 90-degree angles. There are giant green orbs connected to each other that are especially big targets, but they fire back, so don't get too close. I love the voice samples in this game, although I'm failing to see the former Yugoslavic connection. This is still a nice little game I wouldn't mind dropping a few dinars on. Dig Dug is up next, and the premise is simple. You need to clear out as much of the terrain as possible, while avoiding the creatures in your way. The music plays as you dig, which is quite amusing to hear. It doesn't help that it can get stuck in your head quite easily. The little guys can travel through the dirt and are hell bent on getting you killed, so you need to learn how to sick them. You can also weaponize the rocks to drop on them too. It got pretty close, but you got to plan a route to get all the dirt cleared effectively and the optimal time to drop the rocks. But unless you want to bust out the graph paper to track it all, it doesn't have to be taken that seriously. Still, this is one of my favourite ones so far. Dragon Spirit on the chopping block now, and it's another vertical shooter. The main character can turn into a giant blue dragon, and that has pissed everyone off, so you've got to kill them to make sure that they don't get that power too, probably. They come at you with all sorts of fireballs, so make sure you dodge them and shoot back. And the creatures in the river shoot up at you too, so plan your flight accordingly. The graphics are very pleasant, mind you, and the level theme gets you right in the mood to shoot up some flying bat things. Oh, I made it on the scoreboard though. Galaxian. This one is the fan favourite formula. Black background with dots, aliens arranged in perfect formation, and it's your job to gun them down. You move across the bottom of the screen, dodging everything coming your way, and there are various levels of enemies that invade your space. Simple, but it works very nicely, and Namco thought so too, because 2 years later they released Galaga. I'm sure you all know what Galaga is, but if you don't, this and Taito Space Invaders ran the single screen space shooter game back in the early 1980s. As a former arcade owner in 1982, I can say that with 100% certainty. You couldn't go into any arcade calling themselves top of the line if they didn't have one of these in there. Never before has shooting at flying sprites on a black background been so iconic. Rather than the enemies starting in neat formation, they all fly into the screen in waves. Some of them shoot back, some don't, and some emit a blue force field, which I'm sure is detrimental to your ship's condition. And you're about to finish a level, and I'm trying to get the last one here, but the controls just aren't agreeing with me, and I keep getting so close, but it just won't work. So... now what could this be? Oh, Mappy, released in 1983. You play as a police mouse going around the mansion of the cats retrieving goods that they've stolen. Of course, since you're a mouse, the cats don't take too kindly to you. Strangely, the cats have installed trampolines throughout their abode, and they can't hurt you while you're on them, but on the floor, that's open season. The doors can be opened with an explosive force that can send the cats flying across the screen, so you can grab the treasures. The music is very fun, and I don't think this particular earworm will be leaving anytime soon. It's reminiscent of silent era movies and cartoons, and it really fits the vibe here. A fun little game. The last game I'll be taking a look at in this compilation is Miss Pac-Man, a variation of that Pac-Man secret formula. The course is laid out slightly differently with 2 tunnels on the sides instead of 1, and the course is orange rather than blue with altered sound effects. It also feels a bit easier than the original Pac-Man release as well. One of the ghosts also have a different name on this version too, which is something to keep in mind if you're playing some intense Namco trivia or something. Now that sure was a lot of games there, but what was our main takeaway? Well, I think it was Namco games sure have a lot of explosions, don't they? Air Combat, released in 1995, it was based off the arcade released 2 years earlier. We fly on our fighter jet trying to stop the enemy after they stage a coup d'etat. There is a good variety of different planes you can choose from at the start, and their controls are fairly straightforward, although the graphics are a bit underwhelming, especially in the ground texture looking like a massive field of the former Libya flag. As you play, you are guided by a voice over the radio signalling you to where the enemies are, and giving you a nice cheer of encouragement when you manage to shoot down a target. It's quite a simple game, but the soundtrack is really fitting and it gets you in the mood to shoot down some enemy planes. It's a shame I'm not very good at it, so I think I'll just try and land the plane here. Vampire Night is up next on the PS2. You play as one of two vampire hunters who set out to rid their village of centuries-old vampires that have been terrifying and killing the villagers. The game has you running to the castle to put a stop to the vampires' games.
Once and for all, who shall live and who shall die?
The enemies are fast moving with life bars on some of them. A couple types of the enemies spit projectiles at you. At the end of the first level there are mutated humans which charge up and then run super fast towards you. As you proceed through the levels you get to see cutscenes of the enemies playing their next move. Some of the animations are quite humorous.
You're no vampire!
There are a couple extra game modes in store as well. Some training modes and missions.
Special mode.
In this mission we need to find a doll left in the snow, and I thought you had to shoot the doll to retrieve it, but the game says I don't have to, so it's fine. I hope the girl doesn't mind sleeping with her bullet-ridden doll tonight.
Please.
You did it! I'm so happy!
The training missions have you shooting targets as fast as you can, which I can manage to do. And shooting a bunch of moving targets.
Go! Reload! Fail!
This game plays very similarly to Sega's House of the Dead series, which makes sense since Sega ported it to the PS2. Even the map at the game over screen matches the House of the Dead 2's. That doesn't stop it from being a terrible experience. It's really fun to shoot at all the enemies, and the graphics are very smooth and fluid. This leads me on to Ninja Assault, a game cut from the same cloth as Vampire Night, but set in Japan instead. I must say, I really like the cover art, not only for the Ninja Assault, but I also prefer this painted style over the dated early 2000s 3D renders. It makes them look less dated, but I understand 3D polygons were hot selling back then. The evil Shogun Kigai has captured the princess, and it is up to two of these royal guardians, Guren and Gunjo, to rescue her. They meet a female ninja called Aoi on their journey, and all three of them use the super awesome power of teamwork.
The real superpower of teamwork!
To get the job done. Shooting anything that's on screen is so much fun, from archers to shield wielders, but some of the enemies really love to get up in your face, so watch out. At the end of each stage you face off against the boss, and getting rid of it is so satisfying. Is that an E? If it isn't, what is it? How would you pronounce it? Like a cross between an E and an F? A vowel and a consonant combined into a singular glyph? Damn. Like Vampire Night, there are special missions and training modes as well, which add to the replay value. I'll give this one 18 out of 22. Now I'm sure this game needs no introduction, the start of a massive fighting game franchise with crossovers and spin-offs every which way. You have a choice of 8 characters, and I think I'll go with Law simply because he looked like he'll try and commit unspeakable crimes to me if I don't. It reminds me of Virtua Fighter and the characters from that, however the characters in Tekken look a lot nicer. Virtua Fighter came out earlier though, but they look much more improved in the sequel. Anyway, you can definitely tell this is an early PS1 game aesthetically. That doesn't stop it from being a lot of fun. Especially when you get a win, but only with a slither of health left. A lot of your opponents put up a strong fight, but Yoshimitsu, despite his massive sword, is a pushover, so make sure you give it to him. Kazuya, on the other hand, is a right pain. It took me a few attempts to get him neutralised. He ain't all that. Nothing compared to my man Law here.
You win.
Okay, I take that back. In all fairness, this game performs very phenomenally on the PS1. The controls are tight, the soundtrack memorable and solid, and load times are near non-existent, which is very impressive. It makes me wonder how Virtua Fighter plays in comparison. Tekken 2 up next now, and with it we get a visual upgrade. It's a shame they couldn't get the hair quite right on Nina though. We also get a whole bunch of new modes. There are some new characters as well, bringing our total up to 10, but I think I'm going to choose King this time, because with a name like that, how can you go wrong?
Round 2. Fight!
Well, all looks good so far. Heihachi's got equipped with this crap though. Ooh, looks like it's Yoshimitsu again. Let's see if he's still a massive pushover.
Round 1. Fight! Perfect!
Well, so far he's proven to be even more of one. Oh, he's putting the work in now, but I've still got one more round left to go.
Final round. Fight!
Where the hell did this come from?
You lose. Continue.
Now all of a sudden he's actually decent. He was so easy in the first game, and then they go and mess it up. So what if the developers want to add some extra challenge? Nah man, I'm putting on something else. Time Crisis is up next, and with this one you can really tell it's a PS1 game. Just take a look at this opening cutscene. You play as Robert Miller trying to stop the evil Wild Dog and rescue Rachel McPherson. I mean, it's not House of the Dead, but still not the prettiest. They even left this blue square on the screen. Okay, now how do I start? Oh, is that a crosshair? I would have expected an actual reticule, not just a dot. This game of course was designed to be used with a light gun, which won't work on my new TV. So we'll have to make do with this dot. The problem is that it's quite imprecise. Being only able to use the D-pad makes hitting the targets quite a struggle, especially if they're farther away. The buttons aren't configurable either, so you're stuck with the default. You take cover behind objects to reload, which means you can't get hit, but with an ever-looming timer you can't get too comfortable. A lot of the time the enemy's aim is worse than wet socks, but one always makes it to you, and that's what deals the damage, so make sure to watch out for those big red bullets. Aside from that, it's still a pretty good experience. The soundtrack is very nice, and you get plenty of continues. And gunning down many enemies in quick succession is very satisfying. Let's see if they improved with Time Crisis 2. Wow, I know that it's quite easy to tell the difference between a PS1 and a PS2 game, but this is night and day.
Project is named Starline Network. This is a monumental achievement. Hey, Mike, Starline will unite the world.
There are two new protagonists that we can play as, Keith Martin and Robert Baxter. Wild Dog makes a triumphant return, so I guess Robert didn't do too well last time. We also have the option to change the controller mappings, and the crosshair isn't just a little blue dot anymore. The increased resolution of PS2 games makes this game a lot more pleasant to play, although without the G-Con gun controller, it can still be difficult to play without some practice. The music is a nice upgrade too, and with the introduction of some extra game modes as well as the arcade, I recommend this over the first one, especially if you don't have one of the light guns.
Alright, let the gun go off.
Now if we combine Time Crisis 1 and Time Crisis 2, we are bound to get Time Crisis 3, right? Well yeah, that is exactly what you get. This time a militant force has invaded a Mediterranean island, threatening the livelihoods of all of its residents, and we can't have our favourite Astogian bakery collapse, so we've got to make this right. The thing is, the military isn't screwing around. They have thousands of soldiers and bullets at their disposal. They have tanks, parachuters, bunkers and huge cannons, all sort of stuff, but in response, only 2 agents get brought in to take them out. If they didn't have the power of video game logic on their side, they would have been dead before they even made it onto the shore. Our choice of 2 agents, Alan Watson or Wesley Lambert, make light work of the initial enemies, but they come back swinging with those giant red bullets once again. Now that was a lot of Namco goodness right there, and the bag looks empty now, so what are you talking about, Mr. Sir, with such a majestic head? Oh, there's another game in here.
Mr. Sunshine. Na na
What on earth was that? This is why we love Japan. They do all the stuff us Westerners are too scared to do. We are given a synopsis of what happened in the past, as this was a sequel to a game called Katamari Damacy, released a couple years earlier. The main premise is that you start with a little ball and you roll up anything you can find, getting bigger and bigger and bigger till you're bigger than Japan itself. Yeah, they can get pretty big. The king here is a real character. He can't even maintain eye contact with his son, and he refers to himself in the third person, which is something silly only royalty do, but it sounds really pompous and hilarious. Nevertheless, he is pissed. Apparently only Earth has stars around it. The players of Damacy were lazy, but the Earthlings of Earth enjoyed it still, so it's all good. And hey, it gives the prince something to do, filling in the rest of the cosmos with stars. We are thrusted onto the Earth's surface, and he's got a little groove to him. Bugger off! This guy here wants a refresh on how to Katamari, which would be nice because I have no clue myself. We are taught that pushing the analog sticks up pushes you forward. It can take a bit of time to get used to, especially with all the different ways to move the little guy around. All these miscellaneous yellow objects are just cluttering my life, so I'll just... There we go. Once you've collected enough, you can roll up to the next level and collect even more of the objects. The king is also fond of family abuse, and he just wants to roll up our cousin here, our dear cousin Ace, but look at his Katamari. I don't even think it's a real one. He isn't picking up anything, so you know what? We'll run him over as well. And these little angel guys too, why not? With that out of the way, we can sink our teeth into the first real stage, but not before throwing our wonderful creation and most likely Ace into the great beyond.
Baba Booey.
Just a little save and we're on our way. Oh, there you are, Ace. Glad you got back safe. The first stage has us in a Japanese home, rolling up all sorts of fun Japanese trinkets. Our Katamari must reach a total size of 15 centimeters, and the also generous king of all cosmos has given us 3 minutes to accomplish this feat. He seems to be quite supportive, announcing our first roll-up. As you collect more objects, you can start gathering larger things that get in your way, and create abominations the like of which this abode has yet to see. This level is quite a low pressure stakes one. There are plenty of small objects, so you should be able to clear without too much trouble, but the game offers unlimited retries, so you can get plenty of practice in. This game has a very distinct, cute art style, and I like it a lot. All the bright objects lead to some very fun Katamaris, and they're a marvel to behold when flung up to the sky. On that topic, the instruction manual for this game is absolutely phenomenal. Not only are there a whopping 45 pages, which you definitely don't get anymore, but the pages are in wonderful colour with beautiful illustrations and presentation. It's probably my favourite game manual yet. I really enjoy when game manuals are in colour. Sega games always annoyed me because they were in black and white. Throughout the stages you can even find your relatives just hanging around, and if you roll them up you unlock them as other players. So I'll be going with Matcha for the next stage because he's stronger and that should get me some more points. What does this lazy bastard want? He wants a Katamari too, but before he goes to sleep. He can't be serious, and I'm glad that the king of all cosmos agrees with my sentiments. Well, I'm glad you have the spine of a jellyfish. Well, not if they compromise my values. Well, not if they compromise my values. You know what? I'm not going to. This stage has us making a Katamari 40 centimeters big in 6 minutes. This isn't too bad. Once you roll up to 20 centimeters, you can leave the confines of this room for the great outdoors, and you can roll up even larger things. We can clear the 40 centimeter quota easy peasy now. With our slough of a client and the king of all cosmos satisfied, we've earned ourselves a disposable Neptune. Now not only are we descendants of the king of all cosmos, we are also custodians, because this mother wants us to clean up her son's room. Well, I guess everyone needs a bit of help from time to time. We have 100 items to clean up here, which isn't too bad, and we can clear a lot of it pretty fast. Strangely, this guy has left a lot of sharp objects pointing straight up, like these pencils, which is definitely nefarious. But hold on, I had no idea this sun was cool like that. Check out this song. It's really catchy, and you'll come to discover that this game has loads of fun stages all over the place. For the next stage, we're building a wonderful bouquet of flowers, and by bouquet I mean a Katamari floral monstrosity. Not only can you pick up flowers, piranha plants and butterflies too. I don't know about getting the flamingos though, but you can definitely pick up the ducks. This level is really pretty, and all the different mounds of flowers can obscure and hide your character, which is pretty funny. These guys are going to have quite a CV, from custodians to florists, and now we get to add underwater diving. For this stage, this guy wants us to go underwater to do some rolling up. It should be fun, but how are we going to breathe? Well, a snorkel of course, but the top isn't in the air. Well, you know what, these aren't humans and it's just a game, so logic like that shouldn't concern us. We have a delightful bunch of objects to roll up this time, like crustaceans, coins, carp and other colourful, cheerful collectibles. I know it all seems like fun and games, that is, until we get hoisted up to the surface by these hooks. It seems Mr. Krabs' philosophy is true.
You end up vacuum packed in a can of tuna, with nothing to look forward to but the smell of mayonnaise.
Baba Bowie.
But we don't get candlelight tuna, we just wiggle around for a while before dropping back down. This only serves to waste some time, so watch out for those hooks. The fish are doing their own thing as well. They're just so chill, as fish tend to be. I should know, Lake Masters EX taught me well. That's some ancient TDS lore right there.
Oh, I'm hooked. And that means...
This guy's grandson is asking us for a Katamari, but he wants to see it first. But the little guy's a sport prick, asking for a 3-meter Katamari in only 10 minutes. This is going to be close. Oh no, yeah of course, no problem at all. Here we go, off to a good start. Got a few closed pegs and matches, this shouldn't be too bad. Nice, I hit 20 centimeters, it's only been a minute or so. Out here I can collect bigger things, there's a whole bunch of things here. Sweet, 40 centimeters with 7 minutes still on the clock. I hope I'll make it, it seems really close. Cool, hit 50, and I can venture into even greater lands. Look at this, I'm collecting all sorts of food, and that's really boosting the size of the Katamari. But if I hit anything that moves, I just get flung all over, which is a huge pain. 80 centimeters in, just 3 minutes on the clock now. I hope I unlock a new area at 1 meter or something, just full of suitcases. Oh crap, just 2 minutes to go, and nothing. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Crap, a minute left, and I'm only at 1.3 meters. I'm cooked. And look at this. This bicycle crashed into me and I lost some of my stuff on my Katamari. What an arse. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, that's it.